Now, in this message, it is very important to know that knowing this truth is only the first part of its demonstration. Knowing it will not demonstrate it for you. And that is why we come at this moment to that part which demands of you a sacrifice, which demands of you an effort. The way is straight and narrow, and few there be that enter. I am not come to bring peace, but a sword. Up to now, what we have said is gentle and sweet and good tasting. Now comes the part that makes the belly bitter. Now comes that part which is living this truth. You will find it difficult to remember this truth. You will find it difficult to know that I am the Father, the one, and all the Father hath is mine, but the difficulty comes in living it, and it is only in the living of it that you can demonstrate it. In other words, you might declare, I am Joel, I am Joel, I am Joel, and nothing's going to happen. But if you want it to happen, then start out to live as Joel and do the things that Joel does and think the things that Joel does, and pretty soon you'll come into the demonstration of the life of Joel. But just declaring it, affirming it, will not do it for you. Nor will declaring that I and the Father are one do it for you. Declaring your sonship. You have got to assume your obligation of a son. You have got to assume the obligation. Oh, as we have seen in today's experience in Washington, Eisenhower was elected president, but nothing happened. Not until today. Today he assumes the presidency. Today he assumes the duties and responsibilities of office, and today he really is president. So it is. We realize our sonship. Now we must assume the responsibility of that position. And part of the responsibility of that position lies in our readiness and willingness to stop this search for health and supply and to rest back in the conscious awareness of it as a divine gift already established within our being, even though momentarily not true in appearance. No longer the statement of truth. No longer voicing truth. Now living the truth of true identity. Now being willing to be called upon to heal the multitudes or feed the multitudes. Can you do it? Yes, you can. Yes, you can, if you assume the responsibility of sonship. And then when you are called upon to heal or feed the multitudes, realize, yes, I my own self can't do it, but by virtue of my sonship, all that the Father hath is mine. All of the gift of healing, all of the gift of supplying, all of the infinity of supply, all of the joy of sharing, all of the joy of giving, all of the joy of not bearing resentment, anger, malice, jealousy. There is the living of this truth, so that when we are hurt by the external world, or when the external world hurls hurts at us, that we do not give in and acknowledge the hurt, but realize, no, in my divine sonship, there can be no hurt. And whatever it is that this old mortal self felt is of no concern to me any longer. That was the prodigal out there on the road, and I left him out there. Whatever is aimed at the prodigal is of no concern to me. Whatever is aimed at my Christhood, be assured the Christ can absorb. Just as Jesus was crucified, but his Christhood absorbed the nails and the pain and enabled him to be resurrected. His identity as Jesus didn't, his body couldn't, but his Christhood could take everything that was leveled at Jesus, and then he could get up and walk out and, if necessary, ask for more. Yes, his Christhood enabled him to do that, and so it is not your humanhood, it is not your prodigal sonship that can heal multitudes or feed multitudes, and it has no hidden manna to give. It is out of your Christhood that you can heal multitudes and feed multitudes and forgive 70 times 7. Don't you know that as a human being you cannot help resenting injuries, that you cannot help these human emotions of envy, jealousy, malice? Each one is touched by something else. Resentment, pique, hurt. Each one has something else. Some have 2 and 3 and 4. You can't help that in your humanhood. But the Christhood of your being can accept it and dissolve it. If only you omit the word I. Omit the word I. I am not hurt. That was not aimed at me. That is no part of my being. So let the Christhood of me absorb it. If Jesus had not presented his Christhood on the cross, those nails would have killed him. Physical life and physical body cannot withstand that experience. But one's Christhood can. Physical life, human wisdom, all this knowledge that we have absorbed tonight will not heal anyone or feed anyone. Nor will it give us the hidden manna to give out to the world. But our recognition of our sonship, our recognition of our Christhood, of the divinity of our being, our recognition of our I-ness with God, oneness, through this we can say, ask me for water and I will give you water, water of everlasting life. Come to me with your burdens and I will give you rest. I will give you peace. I will give you comfort. Out of what? What I've learned out of a book? No, out of my divinity, out of my Christhood, out of the hidden manna that is given to me as a child of God, out of the meat that the world knows not of, that I carry around with me. That meat I can give you to eat. I can give you bread and wine and water, not out of my treasury, out of the divinity of my being, out of my Christhood. But you see, the difficult part is in living it, in acknowledging every moment of every day your divine sonship, your new dimension, so that when called upon, you don't say, I haven't any money to give you, but that you say, yes, I have some hidden manna to share with you. I have some meat that the world knows not. I have living waters to give you. Always go back to the invisible and remember the word, my peace I give you. You can't give human comfort. This is a word of wisdom to all of our practitioners and teachers and all those who may be called upon to practice or teach. I don't care what your past marital or business experience may be or may have been, it is not sufficient to warrant you in advising anybody on their marital affairs or business affairs. And so when people come to you with problems concerning their home life or their business life or their social life, be very careful that you listen well and say nothing except, now let us meditate and bring the Christ to bear. Out of your Christhood, you can solve any problem for anyone. The Christ of you, the Spirit of the Father in you, is a peace be still to error of every nature. The Christhood of you is a peace be still to every storm. Only don't try to be so all-fired wise that you give advice. It may be good advice, but it'll backfire one of these days. Don't do it. Don't do it. The saddest experience has come to those practitioners and teachers who have tried to advise patients and students on their home life, their business life, and their investments. Oh, and that above all, be careful of. Don't recommend investments or any human mode of action. No, and don't recommend practitioners and don't recommend lawyers. Let each person be guided to their own. You bring to bear your divine sonship on their problems. You retire within their being, whether they're seeking a realtor or a furniture house or an attorney or a practitioner. Say, let us take it to God and you will be led. And out of the hidden manna, they will be led and directed and protected and sustained. But you may give them a name that in all faith is a good name today, but it may become bad tomorrow. Don't do that. Don't do that. Remain steadfast in your Christhood. Bring the Christ to bear. You and your Father are one. All that the Father hath is yours, and you need have no hesitancy in approaching any problem for anyone, no matter how great it may be. It may have to do with national or international affairs. It may have to do with state or community affairs. Don't hesitate. There's nothing too big for you to handle through your hidden manna, through your hidden wisdom, through that inner meat and life and love, the Christhood of your being. And when you go within, and all of a sudden that realization of the presence comes, that feeling of, I am on the field, or fear not, or all is well, or whatever way it is that God announces itself to you, the problem is solved, even though you at that moment know nothing at all except that you have received this sense of peace. Then the next day or the next week someone called and said, oh, I just left your office and ran right into the very man or woman I needed to know or meet. Miracles will happen through the Christ of your being. Trouble will come through your human advice, your human guidance. Those of you who have worked with me on any of this type of problem, home, business, you all know that that is the way I have worked with you. Never, never, never give advice. The same way someone may say to you, oh, but shall I go to a doctor or shall I go to a hospital? That's none of my business. If you would like my help, I will go to the Christ of my being. I will bring to bear all of the divinity of which I am possessed. And let it make the decision for you. And then if the patient or student is not yet ready for complete spiritual unfoldment, they will be led to their medicine or their doctor or their temporary need. That will not represent failure on our part. That will represent the Christ meeting their need on their level of consciousness at that moment. Who are we to judge what level of consciousness anyone is at in this moment, or what it is that will fulfill their need? Of this you may be assured. If you turn to the Christ, and it has to appear as manna from the sky, it will. If it must appear as cakes baked on the stones, it will. It will appear in whatever form is necessary for your unfoldment at that moment, or your patients or your students. But you must not try to outline for them how that demonstration is to be made. You must abide in the Christ of your being. And when they say to you, shall I give up my medicines? You say, that's not my concern. Who made me a judge over you, a ruler? What right have I got to tell you what you should do? If you want my help, I will turn to the Christ within and let it reveal itself to you. If they are not ready for that step, they will wander away and find their blessing on another level of consciousness or another dimension. Remember, our dimension is Christ. Our dimension is a stone carved out of a mountain without hands, the white stone whose name is Christ, the invisible. We, as we turn to it, have no tangible evidence of a help at hand, but we have an inner assurance and realization of a presence and the power that goes before us to make the crooked places straight. We have an inner awareness of tomorrow's manna, even though we can't see it on hand today. And we live by that inner grace. But have we the right to tell another person that they must live by the standards that we have achieved probably through years and years of struggle and strife and seeking and searching? Oh, no. Let us give them of our hidden manna, which is the Christ. And then let the Christ appear to them in the form necessary for their unfoldment. I have found this when it comes to marital problems, home problems. I never have any way of knowing whether it is going to bring the couple together or result in a divorce, and I don't care. That isn't my function. My function isn't to keep couples together or bring them together. My function is to really reveal the activity of the Christ and let it bring together or divide asunder. I am not come to bring peace but a sword, to divide households, if that is what is for the good of the individuals. If that is what is the greatest blessing, that is what the Christ will bring about. And on the other hand, if the divine decree is for a coming together, that too will take place. We must not advise. Our faith and reliance is always on inner grace, on hidden manna, on meat that the world knows not of, on inner living waters, not the visible wisdom. Now, accepting our robe and ring, our symbols of divine sonship, we release and we relinquish all desire for person, place, thing, circumstance, or condition. We retire quietly and gently into the center of our own being, and there we realize the presence of divine grace. There we acknowledge that henceforth we live not by might, nor by power, not by struggle, not by strife, but by the grace of our sonship. Let us understand the word grace with a new meaning. When we say now, I live by grace, we mean I live by the grace of my sonship, just as your child is living by grace, by your grace unto it, by the grace of your parenthood to it. So we live by grace of our Father, the grace of inheritance, the grace of gift. Our good is ours as the gift of God, divine grace, and we accept it. And we acknowledge, while we are inside the Spirit, that as all that the Father hath is mine, so I am free, silently of course, to invite the whole world in to sup with me. Come, come, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, come to this feast, to this spiritual feast. Let me share with you that which has come to me as the gift of God, divine grace. Let me give you of this water from the hidden springs, the waters of life. Let me give you of this hidden manna, this spiritual food and rest. Let me share with you this inner meat, and let me give you my peace, gentle peace, the peace that passeth understanding, and the peace that goes before you to make the crooked places straight. Let the reign of God be with you, for his kingdom, this kingdom, endureth forever. Withdraw your gaze from the outer realm, and in the silence of your being realize, I am home in thee. No more do I look outside into the prodigal experience for my good. I do all the work that the Father gives me to do every moment, whatever its name or nature, knowing that as I do it to the utmost of my present ability, It fits me for more work and always higher work in his service. I am no longer man whose breath is in his nostrils. I have no needs. I have no desires. Now I have the realization of fulfillment, since now I know and have discovered I. And now I know what it is that has come that I might be fulfilled. It is the I that I did not discover between the head and the feet. The I that I found myself to be when I knew that I wasn't body, but that the body was mine. Now I know that that I has come, that I, which is the offspring of the I that I am, that I is come that I might be fulfilled. Henceforth I draw upon the I that I am. Henceforth I draw upon the kingdom of God within me for my good. And even while using the language of the outer world, I still acknowledge that my good flows from within. Perhaps tomorrow I may have to make excuses for not paying a bill. Perhaps tomorrow I may have to acknowledge myself to be in pain. But within I will still realize that this divine sonship is the assurance of my realization of peace, freedom, power, joy, dominion. All that the Father hath is mine. And as long as I steadfastly hold to this inner integrity, as long as I live as though I were Christ, the outer picture will soon begin to conform to my inner awareness. The pattern showed thee on the mount, the pattern revealed to thee in the higher consciousness, on the mount, in the higher consciousness. This pattern that I have shown you in the higher consciousness will be made evident and visible to you when you return to the valley. That which is whispered in your ear will be shouted from the housetops. If you can accept your true identity and live in the awareness that you would welcome the whole world to come to you for comfort, substance, supply, guidance, healing, reformation, Christhood. Welcome the entire world without limitation, knowing that even though you of yourself could do nothing, because of your Christhood, all the gifts of the Father are yours to bestow without judgment, without price. Is there one among you will you remember that nobody revealed to Peter the true identity of Jesus, the true identity as the Christ? that it was the Father within that revealed it to him? Don't you ever go out and reveal your identity, but let the Father within reveal it to those who seek you out. Keep the finger on the lips. Show forth in demonstration your Christhood. And you may be assured it will be shouted from the housetops to all the world. But to all the world that can acknowledge and receive it, because it will be shouted by the Father within, not by man whose breath is in his nostril. Show forth by your demonstration that you have received a new name, no longer man whose breath is in his nostril, no longer worm of the dust, no longer a beggar seeking health and wealth. The divine Son, joint heir with Christ and God. If you listen, always listen, for the voice within you, you will hear it say, Son, all that I have is thine. Fear not, I am with thee. I will never leave thee nor forsake thee. Only say unto the children of men that they must return to the Father's house. They will not find freedom outside, nor peace. Not peace of mind or peace of soul or peace of body. Peace is only to be found in the inner kingdom when resting in your divine sonship. There is a presence in you. There is a spirit in man. Learn to abide with it. Become acquainted with it. Acquaint now thyself with him. Where will you meet him to become acquainted with him? Within your own being. Make for yourself minutes, hours of time for communion. Acquaint now thyself with him and be at peace. The kingdom of God is within you. But don't go around mouthing it. Experience it. How many times have I told you in these writings, God cannot be known. God must be experienced. Acquaint now thyself with him. Go within. He will give you rest and peace and supply. But you must make the contact. You must have communion. You must have union. You must have realization. Withdraw from the outer world. We are only a small group. We do not have to let our wisdom be known until we have demonstrated it to the fullest. So do not be in a hurry to tell this to anyone. Be quiet. Be quiet. No one is asking you to advertise it. No one is asking you to proselyte for it. No one is asking you to make it known. Make it your own. Make it your own. Let us be just a dozen people or a dozen hundred people who have found the kingdom of God within our own being, who have found this hidden manna. And then the world will come to us for healing, for help, for regeneration. Live as though you were the Son of God, as you really are. Refute all appearances to the contrary. Stand fast in the faith that you have gained here tonight. Stand fast in the assurance that you have received within your own being that this is the truth of your identity. That only divine sonship is the truth of your identity. Rest from the mental and physical struggle to achieve, to attain, and let the kingdom of God flow forth from you. Oh, I will never leave you nor forsake you. Whithersoever thou goest, I will go. You can't get away from I. And I have come that you might be fulfilled. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. In the assurance that the Lord is my shepherd. No longer rest in your health or in your wealth, but rest in your assurance of the divine presence and of your sonship. Why do I know that the health and harmony and wholeness of being is mine? I know it because I know my true identity as Christ, the Son of God. Know ye not that ye are God's? Know ye not that ye are the temple of God? Do you not know that the tabernacle of God is with men? The tabernacle, the temple, the body, the business, the health, the harmony, the wholeness of God is with men by right of sonship. By right of sonship. By right of sonship, my manna is stored up within me. By right of sonship, the spiritual meat and spiritual water are stored up within me. How much of it? All that the Father hath. Come to these waters. Eat and drink. Say that to the world. Invite the world to come to you. Out of your sonship, you can share the manna and the water and the wine and the bread and the meat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The human scene continues to unfold day by day as it has been throughout all the days of the past. Left to itself, one day will follow another, as days always have. The human scene is like a state of inertia. It continues on being whatever it is now, continuing along that same line. Nothing will change tomorrow from being just what it is today and what it has been in the past, until a new note is brought into the picture. For instance, if you were ill, you might, from the human standpoint, just go on being ill until, in asking for help, the activity of the Christ touched your consciousness and stopped the illness and restored harmony and normalcy. It might well be that in the human picture you have experienced or are experiencing frustration or lack or limitation, and but for the chances of the human life, it may continue in just that way. Again, unless or until you reach out and are touched by the Christ, and it becomes of power to still the storms or dissolve the errors or renew the functions or activities of being. Watch out for this. There is the temptation to rest in our treatments or declarations of truth. There is the temptation to hope that things will be different tomorrow or that they will change tomorrow. Now, in our practice, we have always observed this rule, never to say to anyone, do this or do that, or why don't you be more loving, or why don't you be more just, or why not give up your jealousy or envy. We do not ask that a person humanly change their situation, but when we are asked for help, we turn within until the power of the Christ is felt and realized, and then that power of the Christ will change their experience. It is true that in teaching students on the path, that we will remind them that only in proportion as they put in the effort, the desire for realization, will they achieve it. That is quite different. But in helping them to realize it and achieve it, our function is to realize the activity of the Christ. And so, I bring you this. You have assumed your new identity, your new old identity. You have taken your relationship now as the Son of God, the offspring of God, and you are acknowledging this identity. Now remember that each day, at least once, if possible more often, retire into your inner being for the touch of the Christ, for the realization of the present. Whether or not you achieve it at first is not the important thing. The important thing is that you continue in the effort of retiring into your inner being and there making contact with this inner self, this hidden manna, until you feel the impulse. Then you will know that whatever the circumstances of your human experience, whether of your body, of your business, of your home, of your health, of your wealth, now a change will take place, and a change for the better. It is this inner sense of God's presence, this inner realization of your divinity that will appear outwardly as the changed condition. Do not look for any change except in proportion as through your practitioner or teacher or your own contact that the activity of the Christ has been realized and felt within. At first, you are, of course, seeking this through your practitioner or teacher, or with the help of your practitioner or teacher. And your practitioner or teacher achieving this Christ in your behalf will bring about a change in your outer affairs. But remember that ultimately the responsibility will be on your own shoulder to make this contact for yourself. The help of the Master is not a permanent dispensation. If I go not away, the Comforter will not come to you. If I keep on feeding you and healing you, the realization of the Christ in you, the Comforter, will not come. Why? You will be continuously expecting it of me. That is no reason why any student should not reach out to their practitioner or teacher for help as often as may be necessary to bridge over the period until they themselves reach that Christ consciousness. And even after that, there may be some periods in which they still will require the help of one further along the path than they. That is legitimate. But only remember this, that the change in the outer appearance will only come as the activity or presence of the Christ is realized. And so, whether at first it is through your practitioner or teacher, whether it is ultimately through your own realization, only that touch of the Christ within will change the picture without. Otherwise, as there have been 7,000 years of, unknown 7,000 years of war, strife, famine, volcano, earthquake, so there will be another 7,000 unless and until the Christ is introduced into the picture that changes the entire outer scene. Christ is a living presence and power. Christ is the greatest power ever known or realized or demonstrated. The Christ in all times and for all those who have achieved it has overcome the world. Overcome all of the strife in the world. Not for the world, for you and for me who have discovered it and felt it, and for those who have. Everyone who has ever achieved the Christ has been set free from the trials and tribulations and strifes of the world. And spiritual teachers only experience discords and inharmonies in proportion as they are experiencing it on behalf of their students or patients. In other words, for themselves, for their individual lives, they are free. Jesus the Christ was free of all discords and inharmonies for himself. And whatever he suffered because of his work with his students and his patients and his world. And so with every master, with every revelator, with every teacher, there has come enough of the activity and realization of Christ to set them free forever from the discords and inharmonies of the world. But as they take on the burdens of their world, their practice, their patience, they also come under a sense at times of the struggle of the world. Now remember this, your world of tomorrow will be the same as your world of today, except in proportion as the touch of the Christ is realized. Once the Christ is realized and felt in the inner kingdom, it manifests in the outer world in every form necessary to our daily harmony. Thank you.